Is it possible to be a competitive athlete without letting the sport determine my sense of worth? Can I separate the person I am from my performance in the athletic arena? Is it possible to feel successful apart from my scores and my stats and my scholarships? Well, come along as we explore those very questions on this season of the KondoSpeaks podcast. We'll be chatting with high-profile collegiate and professional athletes to hear how they have navigated the balance between performance and person. Hey, greetings everyone. Welcome to the KondoSpeaks podcast powered by Agatas. Oh man. I've been so thrilled, looking forward to this conversation, and could not be more happy to introduce our guest today. And listen, if you live anywhere in our hometown here in Warsaw, Indiana, you know this man. I mean, this guy, I'm surprised he comes anywhere near our hometown and walks around the streets. He is a legend in our parts. Legitimately, I mean, Kyle, we've had guys like Rick Fox come through. We've had the Plumlee brothers go to the NBA. We've had Ben Higgins, win the Bachelor. And now the talk is Kyle Mangas. And I just want to say a little bit about you. Kyle Mangas played basketball for Warsaw High School here in the area. And man, All-American his senior year. I mean, and you went and accomplished some pretty incredible things. Fourth highest scorer in school history, I think 1,450 points or something outrageous like that. Committed to playing college basketball for the Indiana Wesleyan University, and the first player in Crossroads League history to win Conference Player of the Year as a freshman. That had never happened. You won it 3 times total. Bevo Francis Award your junior year, the NAIA National Player of the Year. Your accolades are pretty crazy. And here you are now, drafted by the Indiana Pacers franchise. You are an NBA player. Crazy. Kyle Mangas, man, welcome. Thanks for taking some time to be with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Kondo. I appreciate it. Just excited to talk about the journey, the ups and the downs, and all of it. Have really enjoyed my time, of course, growing up in Warsaw and then going to Indiana Wesleyan. And then now, was overseas a couple years playing there, and now down in Indy. I'm not quite an NBA player, but I'm close. So, I'm fighting for that and excited for the future too. So appreciate you having me on, ready to talk about it today.
Let me ask you that. I mean, so there is still that distinction. If you're playing in the G League, it's an NBA G League, but the distinction is still made somehow.
Yeah, for sure. There is a difference between 2 leagues, but usually, I mean, every one of our games, there's 5 or 6 NBA players on the floor. There's guys that kind of swing both ways. There's guys who have played 7 or 8 years in the NBA and now they're down kind of in the G League. So the talent is still extremely high. We play in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, so you're right there. We practice in the Pacers facility. So it's all really cool. And there's still one more step to be made for sure. And that's what I said I'm fighting for, but I'm really close and hungry for that opportunity for sure.
Man, I've gotta ask you. You've taken one of the most unconventional routes to get to where you are, and we'll come back to that. But first of all, major congratulations! If I'm not mistaken, you are getting married this summer.
Oh yeah. I am. That's what I'm most excited about.
Amazing.
My fiance Karen, we met at Indiana Wesleyan. She was a soccer player there, and get married up close to my hometown this summer. So really excited for that, to be able to, not experience all this just by myself, but to do it with someone and see what that looks like. So really thankful for her. She's been huge in just all areas of my life, just helping me grow my faith and just keeping me grounded. And she's my best friend. So really thankful for her.
Man, that's incredible. So as far as wedding plans are concerned, are you allowed to touch anything? Are you asked to own a lot of things? Are you like, man, they do not want me to ruin this at all?
I give my input like
Yeah.
when needed. I try to be involved as much as I can, but she definitely takes the reins, and her mom and my mom, and but I try to put some effort in and do my part.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Kyle, the journey has been crazy, man.
Hmm.
First of all, you come out of high school and you have a number of opportunities. And I think people probably think you had more opportunities because of how you absolutely blew up in college.
Hmm.
But in either
Yeah.
case, you chose to go to a relatively small NAIA school instead of shooting for IU or one of the mid majors or one of the majors. What was the
Yeah.
rationale behind that?
Oh man. I would say, I mean, Indiana Wesleyan started recruiting me from a young age, and they were really the only school that did that when I was a freshman or
Crazy.
sophomore in high school. So I built I built those relationships with the coaches, with players there. I went on so many visits there and knew something was different about the place. And like I'd be lying if I did say that like I wasn't a big Indiana Hoosiers fan growing
Yeah.
up. So growing up as a young kid in this state, you're usually an IU, a Purdue fan, Butler, something like that. Um, so I didn't really know about Indiana Wesleyan until I did get into high school and went there, and I just knew something was different about the place, the way the guys cared about each other. It really was a true brotherhood, and I was like, man, I feel like this is where I'm called. Like, um, so I a part of me was like, oh man, like I feel like I really could go to a big school and try to play there, but even more of me was like, no, like this is where you belong. Like these are the plans that God has for you
Mm.
to go to Indiana Wesleyan and play basketball, grow in your faith. Like you can have both of those, like play great basketball and have that as well. So that was kind of the big thing for me. And committed my junior year was. And I was so excited about it, and don't regret a thing. I'm so happy I went there, and those were probably my 4 favorite years of playing basketball and just growing as a person that I'll ever have. So,
I and I've got to know for you. I mean, everyone knew about you and your storied career even at the high school
mhm.
level. I mean, you blew up, scored 47 points, I mean, so the buzz
Yeah.
was pretty loud about that. But got to know the plan. When you stepped onto the floor
Hmm.
in Marion, Indiana, did you have a sense like, oh, I'm about to be the Kyle Mangas everyone will know a few years from now? Or did it completely surprise you? Because what's the balance for you when you think about that? It's like, man, I worked my butt off and I had a
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I expected all of that, or would you say, like, honestly, I was not surprised?
That's a great question. I would say coming in, like I knew I could make an immediate impact there for the team, for myself, but I didn't know exactly what it would look like, whether that would just be maybe playing 15, 20 minutes a game being what it ended up being. So I would say I just felt like I adjusted really well to just how how Wesleyan plays, just in freedom, like just a lot of movement on
Yeah.
offense, just unselfishly. I just feel like I fit into that really well and just kind of hit the ground running there. So had some great teammates and leaders around me. Got older guys just pushing me to do that. Hey, we need you to shoot. We need you to be a scorer. We need you to be a playmaker. Like a lot of freshmen don't get
Yeah.
opportunities like that. So yeah, I feel like I just adjusted quickly with that. But I could have never expected it turned out to how it did. If I'll be honest,
Mm.
so
Man, so the culture you were around,
yeah.
the I am third world of Indiana Wesleyan, and just
Hmm.
the selflessness of how things played out, on court and on the basketball team. But beyond that,
Yeah.
is there's something you would say? Because I'm telling you, Kyle, I watched you play a number of times, and
Hmm.
no offense, I never said, and Kyle's faster than everyone. and Kyle can jump higher than everyone. And
Yeah.
Kyle, man, shoots at the highest percentage you've ever seen. What made you so much better? Like, is it just how everything fits together? I mean, your IQ off the charts. I mean, somebody turns their head for half a second
Yeah.
and you are behind them and to the rack before you know it. Like, what was some of those things just from an X's and O's perspective, from a gift perspective, from a work perspective that you think personally just ended up setting you apart?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it, I mean, number one, and everyone knows this, like you do have to put in the work. You have to put in hours of, um, time in the gym where people don't see that. And whether that's by yourself or just one person. And I'm thankful to have a dad growing up who did that with me. So that would be the first thing. The second thing I would say just comes from a fearless mindset. Um, my favorite Bible verse is First Timothy or Second Timothy or First Timothy 1:7, and it says, "For God gave us not a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self discipline." And that was like that became my favorite verse my freshman year at IWU, and I just tried to remember that on the court, like be bold. Um, try not to. It's easier said than done, of course, but try not to worry. Go for it. Don't doubt yourself. Like you have to believe in yourself more than anyone. Um, so I try to remember all that out there and just play in freedom and fearlessness. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, IQ is a big part of it as well. Like just reading the game, I feel like it comes natural. I feel like it comes naturally for me.
Yeah.
Just feel comfortable out there. I honestly can say I have ever since I was a second grader. So that's where it comes from.
Man, amazing. So your freshman year is absolutely outrageous. And then I'm sure there's people's like, man, I don't know that anyone can do that again. That was a one-off. And then for the next 3 years, it was just continuing to ramp up. I don't know if you feel the freedom to say this. At any point were you thinking, maybe I should go to IU? I mean, maybe I should try for a different route. And at that point, were you starting to think about playing professionally, or was that already kind of in the system?
I can say I never thought about transferring from Indiana Wesleyan. I wanted to finish. I wanted to finish my career there, a 4-year career, and get my degree and finish with the guys I came in with.
Yeah.
And a big thing they talk about is leaving a legacy. Can you leave the program better than when you came in? That was a big deal to me. But probably around my senior year, I started really thinking about playing professionally.
Wow.
I thought that was like, man, okay, what does that look like? I think it's a realistic opportunity I can go after. And I didn't know what it would look like, whether that would be in the States or Europe. And now ended up doing both.
Yeah.
But yeah, came in junior, senior year, end of college, really wanted to explore what that looked like.
Man, and so then talk about now. I mean, G League, Mad Ants, in your home state, and you're saying you are feeling like, man, step away. I mean, now we're talking not about going from NAIA to the D1 level. You are talking about going from G League to NBA. What does that come down to? Is that in your control at this moment? Is it like I just continue to work and trust a certain process?
Yeah, part of it is in your control. Part of it, there are so many guys going for those spots.
Yeah.
Like it is as ultra competitive. I mean, there's only 15 guys on an NBA roster with 30 teams or so. So it's ultra competitive. But I do feel like I'm right there. I had a great season with the Mad Ants, and it's going to be another huge off season for me. That's what I would say about that. But yeah, I feel like one thing I can say and hang my hat on is I have improved. I feel like every year from when I was in high school till now, every off season, like that's been big. That's been big for me. Improving, my numbers and just weaknesses. And that's been huge.
Amazing. And so this off season for you, I'm not even going to ask you what necessarily, but there is very specific things like I want to put in the work and get better in this particular regard? Is it a pretty focused plan for the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. Super focused. And when you are when you do play basketball for your job, like you do have to treat it like a full-time job. It's not just on the court stuff, but like starts with sleep.
Amazing.
Starts with like having your mental right, like going in every day to work out and to practice, like with what you eat, with your recovery. Like I've learned all that. I didn't take any of that really seriously in college. I just cared about on the court stuff. Like now I see how important like the weight room is. Just things like that. Like, so, I've matured in, I would say, and, have a process for sure this summer that I'll be doing down here in Indy and just be dialed in on.
Man, again, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. Curious to know. I mean, your platform, your voice, man, you've inspired so many people to believe things, even in a little town like ours. Like, I don't know that I thought that was possible. And now I'm starting to wonder if it is possible. But curious to know for you in terms of perspective, maybe to some of the young players who are on the AAU circuit, or they're playing high school, or they're playing, even college basketball. Everybody has this sense, well, Kyle Mangas could do it. I can do it. Do you say, yep, I'm Kyle Mangas and I approve that message? Or do you say, oh man, let me just pause for a second. You've got to worry about the things you're talking about. Worry about hard work. Worry about being a good teammate. Don't try and worry about getting to. What's the message for you, for maybe the younger kids who are dreaming about, I want to be the next Kyle Mangas? There's a lot of that around here, man. You'd be amazed how, man, the inspiration you've been, not just in what you've accomplished, but the dude that you are, the example that you are has been huge for folks. But are you the guy who says, yeah, anyone can do it if you dream it enough, or you say, no, there's some things like work and talent and gifting and opportunities that play into that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And coming from Warsaw, like I was one of those kids growing up. I remember watching like Nick Moore when I was elementary school when he was in high school, and I was one of those kids like, man, like I want to be just like Nick. Like we do have such, especially in Indiana, these small towns, but they're very basketball rich towns.
Oh my word, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kids just love it. So, yeah, I would say like number one, of course, you have to believe in yourself and work so hard, but don't make basketball your identity. Ooh. So basketball's not who you are. You have to remember that if basketball is all who you think you are, just a basketball player, and you're so worried about your performance and stats, like that's going to burn you out. That's going to eat you up. That's going to cause so much stress and pressure on the court. But like, if you can remember like who you're, like what you're really defined by, like you're a child of God, you're a brother, you're a son, a daughter. If you can remember those things, a friend, like that goes such a long way, and it unleashes, I would say, just like a new level of freedom out on the basketball court. That's what I've experienced. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, besides that, I would say just like whatever journey you have, it's not all about yourself. So like I would say in today's age, like with social media, especially for the sports industry, like they try to make it all about me, like highlights and pictures and all of that. But like there's so many guys who have made it where they've gone to programs or done routes where it's bigger than themselves, and they've invested in other people along the way. And like that really toughens you up, I feel like, and can just, I mean, like I said, you have to put in the work, you have to do those things, you have to believe in yourself. But if you can do those other things along with that, I feel like that can separate you, and really help lift you and achieve your dreams of, whatever your basketball dreams are. Yeah.
I cannot tell you enough, man, as a man, as a dad, even for what this conversation exists to do. Kyle, that's such a beautifully profound message, because that's exactly it. It's the tying my identity, and man, if my stats hit a certain place,
Yeah.
I feel great. If they don't, I feel like I am nothing. In fact, I had a professional athlete, tennis player, tell me this just a couple of weeks ago, said, man, when I'm not playing tennis, I just have no idea who I am. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was sad to me. You know, it's like, yeah, you are more than just that. So that is such an incredible thing to hear you say, especially having had the success you've had and sitting where you're sitting right now, man. That's just incredible.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like I've perfected it by any way, because especially now when it's my job, I deal with those things more than ever. But through experience and in different teams, I feel like I've able to get it a little bit more under control. But I would say, yeah, like especially in today's age, you see, like I never had a mixtape or anything like that growing up. I never had rankings on a website of you're this or you're that. So don't let those things define you. Like, let your faith define you. Like, let your hard work define you. Let how you treat other people define who you are. And trust in that, believe that throughout your journey.
Man, incredible. Kyle, thank you so much, man. Not just for spending some time, but not for just being an inspiration, but man, just reinforcing just the message that I think has inspired people as they've watched it lived out through your life. And I love your humility, man. It's not like I've perfected it, but this is, you know, this is what I'm chasing. And man, we pray the Lord will bless everything that you touch, and that, man, you and Karen and the wedding and the marriage this summer, even just that, like you lit up, like you're getting married. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about that, because I'm most excited about that and my best friend and journeying together, man. Man, we're cheering for you and just trusting God will use you to continue to share that message, and both what you get to say and how you get to live it out. So, man, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's at this point, like it is fun to talk about off the court things like that. So that did light me up a little bit. That was a great question. Appreciate you asking that. And yeah, I'd try to come back to Warsaw as much as I can, and come to high school games. Was able to do that this year finally, and yeah, I miss it for sure. Miss the people there.
Man, Kyle, thanks so much. We'll be cheering for you, man, and looking forward to seeing what's next for you. And again, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Kondo. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Okay, see you.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the KondoSpeaks podcast, powered by Agatas. Now, Agatas exists to use athletics to provide opportunities for leadership and personal development, and ultimately real life change through Christ. Did you love this episode? Of course you did. So why don't you go ahead and head to your favorite streaming platform to subscribe or to rate and even leave us a review, which we would so appreciate. Plus, that way you won't miss any of the new content which drops every week. And would encourage you to head on over to KondoSpeaks.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, discover other bonus content, and learn more about our sponsor. Kondo Speaks is edited and produced by In the Loop and hosted by me, Kondo Sinfukwe. Don't forget, join us right back here next week for another exciting episode. Until then, stay curious, my friends.